used to fight for father.
What about Bartholomew's children? There's a lot of bad blood there.
Well, the boy used to fight for Stephen, but as far as I know, he ran out of coin. Now he's just a good-for-nothing playing watchman for those monks in Kingsbridge.
And the lady Aliena?
Don't make me laugh.
Partir. Il n'a pas été facile de venir ici, je ne repartirai pas maintenant. C'est horrible, je ne veux pas regarder ça de près. Il réclame plus qu'il en a besoin, alors que les gens meurent de faim.
You have to agree, life is so much better now.
I'm just worried that it might end soon.
May I interrupt?
What is it?
How can you fight for someone like William Hamley? My father was nothing like that tyrant.
Oh, dear Lord, it's you.
You always sat in your neat little keep playing hostess to his well-off guests, while the poor snuffed it just as they do now.
Well, at least William treats us as his equals, and not like pawns on a board of nine men's Morris.
Ok, mon père était-il vraiment un conte cruel?
Was my father really that bad?
Your mother could have answered that question.
He
What?
once told me that she was very unhappy when she died.
And you never wondered why?
Ben, qu'est-ce que tu veux?
I'm here to talk to Lady Regan Hamley.
She's in the keep,
Dans
But
le
only
donjon?
Lord William and Walter are allowed to go there.
and they'll kill you if they find you there.
So you won't help me?
We've already helped you more than enough by not ratting you out.
Partir.
Don't tell anyone that you saw me.
We won't, if you promise to leave now.
Merci, ils m'ont dit qu'elle était dans le donjon.
Are you done yet?
Almost. Let me just see if I took
Waouh,
enough.
les porcs ils mangent un cadavre. Ils se nourrissent de ce qu'on leur donne. Ils préfèrent ne pas regarder. My God. Mieux vaut ne pas s'approcher. Ils pourraient vous reconnaître. Bah, je t'ai dit, Elisabeth, elle allait nous aider. La voilà. Elle semble plus fatiguée que la dernière fois. Non, Suki, c'est pas un jeu. Tu veux lui parler?
What are you doing here? You need to leave. Don't come any closer. William has me watched.
What's taking so long?
I forgot the pork. I'll be out shortly.
Yeah.
Wait a moment, then follow me. We don't have much time. You will look for me any moment now.
On a
So
pas...
why did you come?
La dernière fois ici tout était pourri. J'ai besoin de parler à... Je suis venue en partie pour vous. Vous allez bien?
I'm waiting.
King Stephen has declared a truce with Empress Maud. William's tyranny is over. This land might finally see peace again. That's why I'm here, to talk to his mother.
And what will become of me?
That's up to you. I fought to become a wool merchant. You could too.
I don't think I can be like you.
What's holding you back?
I want to help you. I really do. But I don't know how. I feel so useless.
Run to Kingsbridge. They'll help you.
I can't. William's men would see me if I tried to leave. I tried already. Please, let me stay and help you.
Ok.
Can you take me to Lady Hamley?
I wouldn't know how.
Qu'elle est axée
Hugh
autour.
Axe is watching me. He would never let you through. Only Walter and I are allowed inside the keep. Why don't you ask him? Walter.
Mais quoi?
Walter? William's dog?
Don't call him that. He's not as bad as people say he is. William won't allow me to talk to him anymore. Now Lady Regan is all I have left.
I will talk to Walter then.
Hurry up in there! Or do you want me to come in and pull you out?
Wow.
I need to go.
Ok. Elisabeth, sans faire confiance à Walter, aurais-je mal jugé cet homme?
Oi, sod off! You have no reason to be here.
Ne vous inquiétez pas, je vais pas venir vers vous. Moi, tout ce que je veux, c'est aller là-haut. Leur bannière, c'est un chien qui... un loup, limite. Fait de sang.
Elizabeth claims you aren't such a bad person after all.
Am I not? Have you forgotten that I killed your family's steward?
Got problems over there, Walter?
I would be a better ruler than my father. I know my father wasn't always a good and just person. He killed, just as William does. But I would fight to be better. I would listen to the needs of this land's people.
What are you saying?
I need to talk to the Lady Hamley. I want you to take me to her.
You've got guts, I'll give you that. So, you think I'm a nice bloke? And you think this is enough to convince me that you'd be a better ruler than anyone who came before you? Don't make me laugh. Hugh!
Quoi?
What?
If you let me go, I promise I will end William Hamley's reign.
I don't believe you.
Oui, mais
But it's
pourquoi
not
pas?
up to me to judge these things. I'll take you to Lady Hamley. She'll decide.
Ok, bah tant mieux. Waouh, elle est mourante la madame.
My lady?
Elizabeth, could you get me some water, dear?
Yes, my lady. But first I need you to wake up, my lady. There is someone who wants to see you. It's the Lady Aliena.
The Lady Aliena. When did that bitch become nobility again?
Oh.
I'm sorry for intruding, but this is very important.
Important. As if anything you have to say could be of any importance to me.
Ok. Bah, je
I'm
sais
certain
pas
you've heard
comment
about
je
the
vais...
treaty the king made with Duke Henry at Wallingford Castle.
I have also heard that it's a muddled mess.
Ok, elle est pas forcément contente.
It is a complicated deal indeed, but one that will end the war. And one that makes my family the rightful owners of this earldom once more.
Only by word. There's no one who would come to enforce this, not even the king.
You need to understand that there is great anger among the peasants of Shiring. Anger against your son, against you, even against that poor woman, Elizabeth. If your son doesn't step down, the people will take their land back by force.
That's a lie. My William is a better Earl than your father ever was. To think that I once wanted to marry my good William into a family like yours. Not a day goes by when I am not glad that God saved us from that horrible fate. And that he sent that monk to Bishop Waleran to unveil your father's evil plan.
Ah,
What monk?
ah merde.
That prior of Kingsbridge.
Oh merde.
Philip
Bah,
of Gwynedd.
super.
What?
Please, my lady, you need to hear her out.
Oh, my dear Elizabeth, don't you see what she is trying to do to us?
Si vous niquez pas l'âge de un, les prénoms. Faut avoir le temps.
If you don't listen, things will get worse for everyone. People are starving because of your son. They will rise up and come for you. They're already attacking Kingsbridge. It's only a matter of time till they come here.
My lady, the Lady Aliena came here to make things better.
She has only ever made things worse. She mocked my son for wanting to marry her.
She had every right to deny him.
What?
Ouais.
How can you say that? He is your husband. He's good to you.
If it wasn't for Walter, I'm sure William would have killed me already.
Oh shit. Ah.
What's going on here? What's that bitch doing here?
Oh my god.
She's trying to bargain.
She's trying to take everything.
Is she? Is she now?
Leave it.
Shut up, old man.
Oh merde. Non, non, c'est bon. Super. Waouh.
Cut that whore up, Walter!
No. You brought this on yourself.
You bloody traitor!
Au moins elle l'a pas encore tué hein.
Someone get up here! Men! You will pay. You will all pay
On
for
va dire
this.
que sa grâce lui a sauvé la vie. Putain. T'as un couteau dans le bide, il arrive encore à marcher. Ah non, il est mort. Oh, elle l'a vraiment tué. L'enfer, il va voir. Ah, il est mort. Après, on va dire qu'il mérite qu'il... Ouais. Mais avec tout le mal qu'il a fait, quoi.
Is he dead?
C'est pas le premier mort qu'elle fait à Elisabeth. Hein.
He is. William Hamley is dead.
What now?
Now, we tell his men.
Et elle va l'annoncer comment?
Drop your weapons immediately!
Ah, il y a son frère Richard.
Behold the banner of the new Earl of Shiring!
En bleu avec un renard.
Everyone, listen! Lord Hamley is dead! The castle now belongs to the former Earl's family again.
What? You're shitting us!
It was the King's wish.
Who killed him?
Il s'est tué lui-même. Ouais,
He
c'est ça.
died because he refused to hand over Earl's Castle peacefully.
He knew that the king was about to take the earldom away from him. To avoid punishment, he took his own life. My name is Lady Aliena of Shiring. I'm the daughter of Bartholomew, the former Earl of these lands. I've been tasked to end the tyranny of William Hamley and restore order to Shiring.
Our occupation of Shiring has been made unlawful. Every attack on us is sanctioned by the King of the English.
So what will happen to us then?
I shall tell the king that William Hamley forced you to do his bidding. That every atrocity done to the people of Shiring was his doing and his alone. That is my final word.
Bah, s'ils seront libres de partir.
No one needs to play a part in the things to come. You can freely choose if you want to stay or leave.
Ali, I know that you're a much better leader than I. Without you, we would never have come this far. You never hesitated with swearing and fulfilling the oath to father. In the end, I will be the Earl in name only, but you shall be the true
Oh, le frérot!
Shiring.
Oh, merci frérot! Ah, on gouvernera ensemble.
Don't say that. We'll do it together.
Let's discuss this later. I owe you a lot, Ali. The tyranny of William Hamley is over. The earldom of Shiring belongs to its rightful heir.
Examiner. Le rétablissement de Richard de Shiring, le roi Henri II, sur conseil de ses barons et en application du traité de Wallingford, a décrété que Shiring, au même titre que les autres comtés, serait rendu à ceux qui le dirigeaient avant le règne de l'ancien roi Stephen. Selon les termes fixés pour sa souveraineté, le comté revient ainsi aux descendants de l'ancien comte Bartholomew de Shiring. Ces derniers étant en droit de réclamer leur titre, Richard de Shiring sera donc nommé comte de Shiring au cours d'une cérémonie officielle.
Send a messenger to Kingsbridge to let Prior Philip know that Shiring is finally free.
Oui, il rigole.
What is it? Why are they laughing?
You can send a messenger if you want, but there won't be much of a prior left when he arrives.
Ouais, il rigole. Qu'est-ce qui se passe?
What's going on?
Je ne sais point, frérot. Oui, sans que personne pour vous soutenir, vous avez parlé aux anciens chevaliers de votre père. Elisabeth n'a pas quitté Escastle et est restée avec vous jusqu'au bout. Vous avez renvoyé les hommes de William en hommes libres, vous et Richard dirigez Shiring à côte à côte.
The Pope believes we should either burn him or make him Bishop of Kingsbridge.
I have already taken matters into my
Oh
own hands.
merde, ok.
My men arrested him while Kingsbridge was left unguarded.
While his friends took Earl's Castle.
Oh merde.
Yes.
At least in his death, William Hamley was of use to you.
Wow. Super, mon Dieu. Chapitre 20. Final. C'est pas le dernier chapitre, non? Shiring, jour du procès.
Look at all these people. Seems like they're enjoying themselves.
They never change. You drooling dogs should be ashamed.
Shut up, you old hag.
Wow.
I'm not feeling well.
I'll stay with you.
En
Go
même
ahead.
temps, ça
We'll
lui
come after
rappelle son
you.
mari.
Quick, you can't be too late.
Is your mother ill?
It's not that. This is where they hanged my father.
Et ils vont pendre le Philippe. Ah, Alena, elle assiste au truc. Ok.
The trial begins. The judges. Brother of Stephen, King of the English. The Right Reverend Bishop Henry of Winchester. Her Highness, the Countess Lady Aliena of Shiring. Presiding over the trial.
Vas-y.
The Right Reverend Bishop of Shiring and Kingsbridge. Waileron by God.
C'est le mauvais des deux, mais c'est mort. C'est quoi le jugement? Il va forcément mourir.
Please. The church is not without fault. We have gathered here today before the eyes of God, to accuse one of our own. He wrote in his book that the church and the papacy are not necessary as intercessors between God and man. That God is in man, that all men are equal, and that each sinner is as close to our Lord as the Pope himself.
Ok, bon, la traduction elle est plus là.
Now, we ask God for his judgment. For his is the kingdom, the power, and the glory. Not ours, and not yours.
Bref, elle a expliqué que son book c'était
You stand
genre jamais été
accused
égaux.
of heresy. Philip of Gwynedd, how do you plead?
Que plaidez-vous? Hein? Moi je ne suis pas
Answer.
coupable.
I am not guilty.
Your teachings speak another language. Guilty, I say.
I am deeply saddened. It may come as a surprise to you, but we had hoped to make you Bishop of Kingsbridge. Why has it come to this, Philip?
In part, I am to blame. I supported Philip in his early years. I demand that Philip be removed from his position of prior immediately.
No.
And that he remain in captivity until such time that Shiring and all of England have healed from the poisonous words he has dispersed.
No!
What? Yes?
Douter des accusations.
In what way exactly are Philip's teachings heretical?
Philip of Gwynedd has said that each of us is in part of a godly nature, for God has made us in his image. Therefore, he claims that none of us, not he, not the bishops, not even the Pope, is closer to God than any other man or woman.
Heresy. Christ made his apostle Peter his first pope. He and us, his church, hold the keys of the kingdom of heaven.
Yes!
The Bible also tells us, let a man be known by his actions. Philip made Kingsbridge into a prosperous place for its people and for the church you claim he disrespects.
That is true, Lady Aliena.
Yes. Let a man be known by his actions. Call in Remigius.
Ah merde. Oh.
The Prior of Shiring. Father Remigius.
La pute de Remigius. Ah, parce que j'ai dit que c'était bon pour le... J'ai vraiment jeté...
My bishop. Tell the court, Remigius, what you have told me.
For many years, I served as sub-prior of Kingsbridge. First for Prior James, then for the accused.
What was your first impression of him?
C'était pas d'accord
I
avec
was
lui.
offended by his bluntness and accusations during the chapter discussions.
What else?
Prior Philip did not hesitate to give refuge to the people fleeing Earl's Castle in the winter that our king died.
Is that not a good deed? A true Christian act?
You do not know him as well as you think you do, Lady Aliena.
Non, t'inquiète, elle est au courant.
Today, that will change.
J'espère
Then,
que je vais
on
réussir.
the day of our first fleece fair, we were attacked.
I heard. It was terrible.
Oh, ça fait surtout
I
mes
tried
choix.
to soothe the woman's pain by reading the scripture to her.
Ah merde.
Our master
Salut,
builder's
King.
wife tried to put a spell on her with poisonous herbs.
And Philip intervened.
Merde.
Yes. He pushed me aside and gave the woman poison.
C'est pas du poison. J'aimerais bien qu'elle soit là pour...
It is worse than I thought.
It was no poison.
And then there was the day the Virgin Mary's statue arrived in Kingsbridge. I did not believe it was a miracle.
Clearly, it is a miracle. I hear of many who were healed in Kingsbridge.
Yes! Amen. Amen! Oh, Mary, bless us all!
Well, I soon realized it was a true miracle, but Philip did not.
Quoi? J'ai jamais dit ça.
He was only after the money people donated at the Virgin's shrine.
N'importe quoi.
That is why I left.
J'ai pas du tout dit ça, j'ai dit qu'il fallait le laisser parce que... Bon,
I
c'est pas grave.
believe there is one more thing you have not told us about. Something very important.
Yes. Philip has fathered a child.
Quoi? Mais n'importe
A
quoi.
son. And he raised him in the priory.
Mais il raconte que des sauces. Ça va et toi?
Jonathan of Kingsbridge, step forward.
N'importe quoi. Mais c'est pas son fils.
Is it?
Is this true? Are you Philip's son? Answer the question, Jonathan of Kingsbridge.
I have no father.
Everyone has a father.
That may be. But if Philip was my father, he would have told me.
How do you know he did not lie to you?
Speak. Philip would never lie. He told me that I was found in the woods.
In the woods? Is this true, Philip? Or are you lying?
Bah c'est vrai.
Well, you told the story so many times.
My brother found him.
Your brother? The brother whose master you betrayed?
What are you talking about?
Philip tried to involve me in a conspiracy against his brother's master, Earl Robert of Gloucester. And his ally, Earl Bartholomew, your father, Lady Aliena.
Ouais, je suis à fond dedans. C'est la France, c'est pour ça.
Those refugees years ago because he was to blame for their fate, as he was for yours when you lost your father and your earldom. That, Lady Aliena, is the man you are trying to protect. Well,
I know that he is a troubled man. We've all had to make hard decisions. Decisions that seemed right at the time, when indeed they were terrible mistakes. I am thankful that I was forgiven when I made a mistake. Now I forgive him. Let us now return to the problem at hand. There is a man who witnessed how Jonathan was found in the forest. A man who can shed light on who Jonathan's father really is.
And who is that?
Jack.
My husband.
Step forward.
Allez, Jack, dis la vérité. Ils ont jamais dit.
What is your name?
He is the master builder of Kingsbridge.
On va dire Jack Jackson.
Have you lost your courage?
No, I have not. You know well why it would be hard for me to face you. They call me Jack, after my father. My name is Jack Jackson.
Yes, we have met before.
How old were you when you allegedly saw Jonathan as a child in the woods?
12. But I know what I saw. Philip told the truth.
You were a child.
T'es qu'un enfant, et
And
alors?
what were you doing there, in the woods?
I was living in the forest with my mother.
They were outlaws.
Ouais, mais on l'a à cause de qui?
Remigius is the most trustworthy witness we've seen today, and his statement was quite damning to Philip. The distant memories of an outlawed child cannot convince me otherwise.
He fathered a child!
No! He would never do that!
And yet, Lady Aliena is right. We do not know enough to judge him as harshly as you proposed, Bishop Waileran.
You are right, Bishop Henry. As I said, it is not up to us to judge this man. Philip of Gwynedd has pleaded innocent, but how innocent is he? We ask God for his judgment. As Bishop of Kingsbridge and Shiring, I demand an ordeal by fire.
N'importe quoi.
This is madness!
Philip of Gwynedd will be tried and judged at the stake. If he is innocent, God will save him from the flames.
N'importe quoi. Bah justement, dans cet écrit,
If he is not, then he will burn as the heretic and sinner God has declared him to be.
No!
Vas-y, vas-y, l'aide. Eh, ils sont en rouge là.
By God. Not this time.
It's her.
I saw the child and Francis. I was there. Philip is not the child's father. He is a fool, but he is a good man.
Then, who is the father?
Bah, c'était Tom, le bâtisseur.
Tom Builder.
Oh merde,
They
Jonathan.
are all in this together. This woman is a witch and an outlaw, living in sin with a thief. He was hanged in Shiring 30 years ago.
He was not a thief. He was a good man. You've murdered him, Waileran, by God.
What is this nonsense?
He was a thief. He stole a golden chalice and melted it down and sold it.
What chalice?
The chalice of the Eucharist. He stole it from the Cathedral of Kingsbridge.
Sacrilege.
Sacrilège, bah il a...
Yes, Prior James of Kingsbridge caught him red-handed.
Menteur.
Prior James confessed to me the night the cathedral burned down. I was there, I saw him.
Prior James died weeks before that.
No, he did not.
What proof do you have?
Le Calista.
Is that the chalice? You said it was melted down and sold.
Fall not for their lies. That could be any chalice. This does not prove a thing.
Where did you find this chalice?
La crypta.
In a secret chamber. We believe Prior James hid it because he felt guilty for falsely accusing Jack's father.
Bishop Henry, he speaks the truth.
Order!
Hahaha, l'autre
I
s'énerve.
will give you until sunset to produce a witness who can prove your accusations against Bishop Waileran. Not just this chalice.
Qu'est-ce qu'on peut faire?
If you fail to do this, I will make sure you are tried for defamation. Philip of Gwynedd, you will stay under arrest.
On peut trouver quoi?
The trial recommences at
Ah,
sunset.
peut-être... Le shérif? C'est le seul.
We need a witness.
What are you doing there?
I've seen you draw up plans for a cathedral. Maybe we can do something similar to find our witness. Let's see. Your father.
He looks just like you.
My grandmother said he did.
And Bishop Waileran. What are the connections? Maybe By exploring them, we can find a witness.
Good idea.
Il était jongleur, sa famille le croyait mort sur la Blanche-Neige, il a été accusé de vol et vendu. Aimerait voir Philippe rouler sur le bûcher et responsable de la mort de nombreuses personnes. S'évertue à ne laisser de traces de ses crimes.
Jack's father. If he was still with us, he could be our witness.
Maybe he still can.
Peut-il malgré tout?
Mother says Wayleran was behind my father's death.
And she said he wasn't alone. There were 3 men responsible for your father's death. Bishop Wayleran, Percy Hamley, back then he was the Sheriff of Shiring, and Prior James of Kingsbridge.
Ah, Percy Hamley. Ah, je crois que...
If they were all there, then they were all witnesses.
And only Wayleran's still alive.
Yes.
Hardly a coincidence. Why would these 3 men work together to falsely accuse your father?
He was on the White Ship. No one survived that night. No one lived to tell the story.
Yes. He was the sole survivor.
And then they killed him. But why? And what about the ship?
Il a coulé le tonne 1120. On dit qu'il n'avait pas eu de survivants, mais le père de Jack a survécu. Capturé à escarcelle et arrêté par Philippe, a été empoisonné. Le père de William Henry. C'était le frère de Kingsley avant Philippe. Il est mort dans l'incendie.
William Hamley's father? Bishop Wayleran is at the center of all. Now, what about...
Percy Hamley was the Sheriff of Shiring. Well, he could have ordered your father to be hanged.
But he was arrested and held in Kingsbridge first. Prior James claimed that my father had committed theft.
Oui. D'abord.
James was the prior of Kingsbridge.
That's where they say your father stole the chalice, melted it and sold it.
But we know that's not true.
As we found it, Philip recognized the chalice.
But Bishop Henry wants a witness. The chalice isn't enough.
But it's an important lead for us.
My father wanted to go to England. He was the only one who made it when the White Ship sank.
Percy was involved in the hanging here in Shiring. He was the sheriff. So Wayleran and the others claimed your father had stolen a chalice from Kingsbridge Cathedral, and that he sold it.
Yes.
We know that's not true, but we need a witness.
It's the only way to help Philip.
Why would Wayleran, Percy, and James be concerned about the White Ship?
The son and heir of King Henry was on board. So were other possible heirs and other members of the royal household. I heard that Stephen was supposed to be on the ship as well, but became ill. He was the only male heir. The only threats were the king's daughter Maud and her half-brother Earl Robert, and they've been at war ever since.
And your father, Earl Bartholomew. He was a threat. He tried to stop Stephen and paid for that with his life. Maybe my father saw something on the White Ship. Proof that Stephen was involved. If Stephen was responsible for the sinking of the White Ship, then he may have wanted the only witness of what really happened to disappear.
But he wouldn't have done it himself, of course.
No.
Donc notre témoin, c'est le roi. Le frère de l'évêque Henri s'est s'emparé du trône.
I think we're getting closer.
Stephen always claimed that it had been God's will that he was not on that ship. That he remained as the only male heir.
That wasn't God. I bet Stephen had a hand in the sinking of the ship.
Now imagine what would have happened if he had learned that someone survived. Someone who might have seen what really happened that night.
Wayleran, Percy, and James might have been working for those who sunk the White Ship.
The 3 people who murdered my father might have worked for someone else. Someone who had an interest in drowning the king's heirs.
Ça n'a aucun intérêt, mais...
The chalice was used to kill the last survivor of the White Ship.
Yes.
Ah, bon, enfin.
If the White Ship is involved, then it's likely that Wayleran was told by King Stephen to murder your father.
But he was not king back then. Why would Wayleran listen to him?
He was promised to become bishop.
Of course.
Remember, Bishop Henry is Stephen's brother, and back then he was already one of the most influential clerics in all of England.
But if Bishop Henry is in on all this, what chance do we have to turn this trial around?
Effectivement.
It is a public trial. All we want is for Philip to go free. We find a witness to expose Wayleran. Henry would have to play along to appear innocent.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
It's our best shot.
Do you think the king told James to arrest my father?
No. I find it much more likely that James was instructed to frame your father by Wayleran, his superior. As Archdeacon, Wayleran was much more involved in politics than James would have been.
Do you think Stephen would have approached Percy directly?
Because of the White Ship? To help him cover up his tracks?
I don't think so. I think it's more likely that Wayleran contacted Percy. Just like he did when he wanted Percy to arrest my father. Maybe Stephen never came up with the plan to hang your father.
You mean Wayleran did it because he heard rumors and wanted to get closer to Stephen and Bishop Henry? Maybe.
Philip said that Prior James was an honest man. So perhaps Wayleran forced him to falsely accuse your father.
Maybe.
That might explain why James was guilt-ridden. The monks still tell the stories about how James thought the devil was after him.
Percy did not hide the chalice.
Qu'est-ce que je peux faire d'autre?
The White had those and mine.
It's possible that King Stephen asked Wayleran.
C'est pas impossible.
If my father...
And will...
Je pouvais pas faire ça. Alors, évêque.
If Stephen is in...
Wayleran, Percy, and James might have been working for those who sunk the White Ship.
Wayleran's face when he saw the chalice. That should have been proof enough.
So, what about Prior James and Wayleran?
Wayleran was not yet bishop when the hanging took place. He was archdeacon. Philip told me.
But James still had to do what Wayleran told him to?
I think that's very likely.
Percy Hamley was poisoned.
One less witness that knew about Wayleran.
And Wayleran probably wanted William to become Earl. He was easier to control than his father.
Yes.
What about Regan Hamley? She survived.
She was taken to her townhouse in Winchester. And in her condition, she might not be able to help at all.
Ah là 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 là. Bah ça... Percy...
Percy True.
Percy ordered Jack's father to be hanged, but he was arrested by... Your father was locked up in our
Bah, lui on sait qu'il a été... lui il a manigancé le plan pour faire ça, pour arrêter, pour que lui devienne truc. Mais là on doit chercher quoi? C'est plus ça.
Percy could not have become Earl, but then he was killed. Maybe he wasn't as useful an Earl as Wayleran had hoped.
Wayleran was James's superior.
C'est lui qui a fait tout le calice. lui.
James claimed that your father had stolen the chalice and sold it. But instead, James himself hid it in Kingsbridge, in the crypt.
We found his scourge in a bed down there.
That secret chamber is important.
Haha, lui.
We're close. Do you think Waylerin knew about the hidden chamber?
No. If he had known, then he wouldn't have been that surprised when he saw the chalice. Everyone thought Prior James was dead, that he broke into the ice. And now we know he was hidden away.
Why did his monks believe he was dead?
Sub-Prior Remigius told everyone he had found James' rosary by the river.
Frère Remigius.
So everyone thought the body had been washed away. They buried an empty casket.
But how is Remigius involved?
Philip told me that Remigius was there when Waylerin made Philip prior. Waylerin and Remigius knew each other.
That explains why Waylerin later made Remigius prior of Shiring.
And Remigius recognized my mother when we arrived in Kingsbridge. He must have been there at the time my father was arrested. I think Remigius knows all about this.
Is it possible that
Je
Waylerin
savais que
told
c'était le
Remigius to make Prior James disappear when James began to talk about what they'd done?
When James started talking to the devil.
But for some reason, Remigius hid him away. But Waylerin never knew. Yes, that explains why he really didn't believe you. When you said you had seen James in the fire.
Where James died after all. And Remigius thought no one knew.
We have to find Remigius. He's our witness.
Let's hurry. It's getting dark already.
Yes.
The trial will continue soon.
People know you two. You shouldn't walk around Shiring like that.
He's right.
Donc on va jouer le jeu.
I'll go look for him.
All right.
Oh.
Take care of yourself.
Faut juste que j'aille aux toilettes moi.
And Jonathan,
Yes?
we will talk later about what was said today. About Tom.
All right. Remigius, now where are you?
Je vais juste aller aux toilettes. Je reviens. Me revoici. Excusez-moi. Hop, on prend. Donc on va aller chercher. Mais où est-il? J'ai pas le son? Comment ça se fait que je n'ai pas le son? Je sais pas si c'est normal. Attendez. Pas grave, Alt F4. Hop, on va relancer le jeu. J'ai pas du tout le son dans mes oreilles. Prenez contre. Pourquoi ça peut pas prendre mes écouteurs? Attendez. Alors, hop. Paramètres audio. Headphone s'il vous plaît. Non, c'est pas. Marche pas. J'en ai marre aujourd'hui, j'ai que des problèmes. Une fois c'est la Wi-Fi, encore la Wi-Fi, toujours la Wi-Fi, et là maintenant c'est les. J'entends pas dans mes écouteurs. Bizarre. Périphérie d'entrée. Oh, je pense que va falloir que je relance mon PC, des fois ça m'arrive. C'est pas grave, ce sera parti en plusieurs. On aura vécu des péripéties aujourd'hui. Alors rien. Combiner les canaux gauche à droite. Pas ça. Speaker. Headphone. Non, le jeu il est. Ah. Ah, je vais relancer mon PC, je vais arrêter le stream et je vais recommencer. Je reviens d'ici 2 minutes.